Assalamualaikum to Dr. Nurul Hidayah. My name is Nur Hidayah binti Amran. My metric number is CF210058. I will explain introduction of geology engineering projects. Engineering geology is the study of geological inputs and how to use that knowledge to solve engineering problems. On December 23, we went to a spot in Aihitam and Mersing. The excursion was scheduled as part of the engineering geology course. Around 100 students from several engineering geology departments participated in the excursions. The goal of the site tour is to familiarize students with the geological structure and real placement of the rocks. As a result of this site trip, they will be able to learn more about the study of rock and rock-related concern. Furthermore, it provides the students with extra information about the raw resources and building materials that are guided by geological materials. Students may have already visited the place and learn about the many types of rocks. Additionally, the student will exhibit their abilities to identify mineral, rocks, and geological characteristics at the locations. This time, the site inspection was overseen by a geological experts lecturer from the engineering geology department. The primary goal of this trip is to introduce students to geology and educate them how to collect the data on slope, identify the deep direction and deep angle, and analyze data for reports and academic research.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Dayang Alif Farzana and my metric number is CF210297, and today I will be talking about methodology. Engineering geology. A geological map is undoubtedly the most significant tool that a geologist can utilize to better comprehend the Earth. Geological maps are used to communicate where measurements were taken in the field, to depict the edges, distribution, and orientation of rocks, and to highlight major geological features such as faults. Second, we have collection discontinuities data by using Burton compass. A Burton compass was used to determine hill slope, deep quantity, and deep direction, and a geological hammer was utilized to shatter rock. The computation of the strike and depth of geology is likely the most common usage for the Burton compass in the field. The strike is measured next to the feature by leveling of the with the bull's eye level and the plane being measured by the compass. Depth is measured by setting the compass side perpendicular to the strike measurement and spreading the horizontal level until the bubble is stabilized and the reading is obtained. Additional capabilities of the compass allow users to measure such geological parameters from a distance if correctly employed and field circumstances are met. For the next part, which is scheme hammer test. The scheme hammer test is used to estimate the uniaxial compressive strength of rocks. It is most commonly employed on unbroken chunks of rock, although it may be utilized on discontinuities. The testing apparatus simply tests specimen preparation and testing method for measuring the rebound hardness number of raw material using a spring-driven drill hammer, also known as a rebound hammer, impact test hammer, or concrete test hammer, are covered in this method. This test technique is best suited for the rock with uniaxial compressive strength ranging from 1 to 100 MPa. And lastly, we have geological strength index. On nearly every type of study utilized in the planning of surface excavation, reliable estimation of the strength and deformation properties of rock masses are necessary. Hall and Brown presented a method for estimating the strength of jointed rock masses based on the interlocking of rock blocks and the quality of the surfaces between the slots.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Rafidin Syed bin Abdul Rashid. So I will present about characteristic of site 1. There is log at air hitam. So as for rock formation, sedimentary and metamorphic rock can be found on this site. As for weathering grade, classified as grade 3, there is moderately weathered. So for last geological structure, bedding and fall can be found. The type of fall is anticline and monocline.
Hi, my name is Nathan Ramesh and I'm going to explain you guys about the data we have gained throughout the experiment we have did at the site. And first of all, let me talk about the unaxial compressive strength, and the value for it we get 17.78 MPa, and we have given 2 for the rating. And the second thing is drill core quality, which is called RQD. and we have get 95.2% of it, which is shows it has a good quality of hard rock. And the rating we have given 20 for it. And the third thing is spacing of these continuities. And before I tell the value and rating, let me explain what is spacing of these continuities. Spacing this continuity is a basic measurement of the distance between this continuity and another. It is fundamental important parameter to describe rock mass quality and has many applications in rock engineering. And so for the spacing of discontinuities, we get 375 mm from one discontinuity to another one, and the rating we are given 10 for it. And now let's see about condition of discontinuities. Discontinuities is often as a collective term of all structural breaks in geologic materials which usually have zero or low tensile strength. And then the value for discontinuities we have given 1, and the rating we have given it 16. And last, the groundwater. We have found out the groundwater at the site is completely dry, so which is why we have given 15 for the rating. And so based on the GSI figure 3, surface condition rating SCR is calculated 10, and the structural rating SR we have gained 62. So the calculation for GSI we have did, and we get 47% of it.
So to determine the mode of failure for this site, first we record 20 set of data for deep direction and deep angle, and then we do as in lab 4A until 4C. First we plot, then counting, and then lastly we draw a contour. After done all of that, for lab 4B we draw a great circle and determine the mode of failure. So as for mode of failure, circular, no circular failure can be found. So as for planar, it's not potential for planar failure. For wedge, there is no joint intersection in the wedge failure. So for toppling, lastly, this slope has no potential for toppling failure. After finish determine all the mode of failure, we need to calculate the FOS, as in lab 4C. But in this case, all of the criteria was not fulfilled, so the chance for failure is very low.
And as for the structure at Pantai Teluk Bangka, we have rock formation, which is carboniferous, which includes pyrite, slate, shale, and sandstone. And as for the weathering grades, it is 3, 4, and 5, which is moderately warm, highly weathered, and lastly completely weathered. And as for geological structure, at the site for site 2, we have faults, bedding, and lastly we have inclines.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Nurul Hidayah. I am Umi Syamilah binti Salim. I will proceed this presentation by presenting regarding to the site 3 that is located at Tanjung Penyambung. Firstly, the rock formation according to the geological map, the rock at site 3 is sedimentary and metamorphic rock. It formed after pyroclastic debris expelled from a violent volcanic eruption cooled. The kind of rock is igneous rock volcanic, and the igneous rock type is ignite pyroclastic. The size range is 0.64 mm to 22 mm and is considered to be fine grain. The most common mineral that may be found inside is pumice, which consists of clast in a fine grain, glassy matrix that may also contain lithic clast and phenoclast of different composition. Next, for the weathering grade can be classified as grade 2 slightly weathered, which has brown yellow color, and if it is completely discolored, it can be fractured with a few blows of a hammer. It also cannot be scraped or peeled by a penknife and cannot be turned into pieces by hand. Moreover, geological structure can be found here is bedding, anticline fault, and joint. Furthermore, this location has a fair rock or 3 rock mass rating, which goes from 41 to 60. Besides, the index of geological strength is 38%. Next,
For the rock mass classification based on total rating, as you can see at the table, the unusual comp strength UCS, the value is 24.78 MPa with rating 2. Next, for drill core quality RQD, it has 45.7% with rating 8. Moreover, for spacing of discontinuity, it has value 250 mm with rating 10. Furthermore, for condition of discontinuity, for node 1 it has rating 22, and for the groundwater it is completely dry, so it has rating 15. Lastly, for the total based on all of this is 57.
I will continue by explaining the mode of failure of the slope at Bukit Tanjung, Penyabung. As we know, to determine the mode of failure, the first step we need to do is by using Bruton compass, we need to measure the dip direction and dip angles of each discontinuity on the site. We have to collect 60 discontinuity on the sites. After collecting the data, by following the procedure of laboratory 4, the first thing we need to do is plotting the poles, counting poles, and contourings. After that, we need to plot the grid circle to representing the average of orientation of each set. Major discontinuities such as faults and dip angle and dip direction. In this case, after contouring poles, we found there is one joint. As we can see from the result from the table mode of failure, circular, no circular mode failure found. Second is planar. P1 not potential for planar. There is no planar failure. Third is wedge. There is no jointed section in the wedge failure zone. And lastly, topplings. The slope has no potential for toppling failure. So there is no factor of safety FOS needed to be calculated because there is no failure according to the mode of failure table. It is because most of the data is taken at the bottom of the slope only, and it is not very accurate to be specific data.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hashim Abdikami and my matrix number is CF210102. For Site 4, structure at Pantai Air Papan, we found the rock formation is extrusive rock. For weathering grades, we classify it as grade 2, which is lightly weathered, and geological structure found are angular unconformity, non-conformity, and fault. UCS is 32 megapascal and the rating is 4. As conclusions, first of all, we know that gathering geological information for a project site is important in the planning, design, and construction phase of an engineering project, and we are also able to apply all the elements that we learned from geology engineering class during this field trip. Thank you.
What if we change and the world doesn't look quite the same? Then could we make memories? Picture us laying by the beach, or is it all in my head? Wishful thinking again. Maybe we're driving down our street, but it's all in my head. Wishful thinking.